How do you think she obviously knew they were coming after her. How do you think they got her?
Okay, well, here's the situation, first of all. I think Dorothy knew that Target was there, but she thought she was invincible. Nobody could touch her. She was so powerful and everything. But the theory we have, there was obviously J. Edgar Hoover, Carlos Marcello, Frank Sinatra didn't care for Dorothy much. They had a feud based on some columns she wrote about his bimbo girlfriends and the mafia connections and everything. But there was a journalist who just conveniently came into Dorothy's death about a year before, when she had been involved in the JFK, in the Ruby trial and all of that. Named Ron Pataki, still alive and lives in Ohio. And Dorothy had an estranged marriage, and she had a couple of affairs, including one with this man. And she shared with him, she trusted him, a lot of her JFK assassination investigation evidence. And we were able to show that the last night of her life, she was in a bar close to where she lived, and there was a mystery man with her, which we've identified as Ron Pataki. We believe that either on his own or because he was in financial trouble or whatever and could have been recruited by Hoover or Marcello, we believe that Ron Pataki, either at that bar or when he accompanied her home, had these barbiturates in powder form and dumped them into her favorite drink, which was a vodka tonic, and that was the cause of death, the poisoning of her by these barbiturates. I've interviewed Pataki several times. He knew that I said that he was a suspect. I sent him the books. He read them. He still denies he had anything to do with it, but there are two poems that he wrote in later years that are very incriminating. One is about zippering tight a gossip columnist's mouth so that she can't talk, and the other one actually is strong in terms of it being one. It has a little portrait, a little image of a bartender, and it talks about poisoning drinks, and the fact that can stop anyone from talking about the JFK assassination or anything like that. I should tell you, too, I was able, against all odds, to get the New York District Attorney's Office, after 50 years, to look into Dorothy's death, and they promised a thorough investigation. And that went on I went to New York and met with them. That went on for about 8 months until they finally called me and said, Mr. Shaw, we really can't find any evidence that Dorothy was killed, despite all of the evidence to the contrary that I had sent them, all about Pataki and all of that. It was interesting because in the phone call, when they said we can't find any evidence showing she was harmed, the assistant district attorney kind of got off script and said, and we don't know who did it. So I didn't get the thorough investigation that I hoped I would. I have since sent all of the evidence and my letters to the DA, to the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, asking him to look into Dorothy's death, and so far I haven't heard anything. I'm still hoping that will happen.